Hey BrewTubers, happy Beer Fun Friday. I am once again just drinking my oatmeal stout. I don't have a lot of stuff tonight. I'm going to show you guys a few updates. I'll show you a quick update on my Corona Mill project, and I've made a little more progress on that. And then I'm going to show you a quick wine update. Other than that, I'm hoping to do the SJ pour experiment. I'm hoping to brew that batch up in the next 3 or 4 days, and I'll shoot some video of that. So I'm going to go ahead and break over to the video of the stuff. And also, I just wanted to say thank you to all my subscribers. I'm over 15 now. I don't know the exact count right now. I'm not in front of my computer, but I know I broke over 15. So once again, thank you to all you guys for subscribing. And I'll break over to my video now. Alright, here's a quick update on my Corona Mill project. So I'd shown you before where I cut out matches. Put this in here. So what I did since then, I had mentioned this in my last video, I was going to cut this bucket off. So you can see it's cut off now. So what you guys had seen before was this here. That's what I showed in my video before. So what I did, and I know this is not the best solution, but it's what I'm doing for now. I cut a big slot in the bottom of this bucket. I cut a hole in here. I still need to clean this up. I'm waiting to borrow my brother-in-law's Dremel to get this cleaned up more. Cut a hole in here. So what I can do now is slide this on. See if I can do this cleanly, one-handed. Alright, I think that'll be good for now. So you got that there. Let me grab the top. So then I can slap the top on here. Alright. So, and then what this does for you is kind of another thing I'm working on is I bought this, see if we can zoom in on this a little bit. I bought this 6-inch to 5-inch reducer. So I'm probably going to take this, put it on top here, maybe tape it or something, and then maybe I can find a like a big water bottle or something that I could put up here to make a huge hopper. But nonetheless, this is already probably doubled or so my capacity on this thing. I'm just going to tape it on or do something. I haven't decided yet how I'm putting this on. But this whole contraption here, I don't know if I can do this one-handed or not, but so basically this is kind of what it's going to look like. And then I'll be able to take this whole thing, see if I can do this one-handed, and I can go up to a clean bucket. Ugh, hold on. Okay. So sorry about that. I kind of dropped my phone and stuff while I was doing that, but now you can see I may take this handle off too. I haven't decided, but now you can see this whole contraption. It slides right into a nice clean bucket. So you could sit there and grind away at your unmilled, and then fill this bucket up with milled. And then, like I said, one-handed is going to be hard, but then basically this thing, let's see if I can do this. It's hard to do one-handed, but this thing will pop right back out. So the cool thing about the way it's set up is I can basically mill right into this bucket, maybe even put a bag in the bucket, or not, just mill right into it, and then when I'm done I just pull the whole milling unit out, and then I got a bucket full of grain. So that was just a quick update on that. And then also I had talked about this before. See if I can find the yeah, here it is. So I showed you guys before I had a bolt here. So what I did is I found one of my drill attachments, and I got this. So basically this just hooks right onto there. I can hook my drill onto it now and grind away. You know, at some point, I don't know if I will or not, but at some point I may cut this off just so the drill can be up closer, but I don't know if it's that big a deal. I'll see after I do my 12 pounds of grain how well this works, but I went ahead and did a little test run with it. So let me see if I have the bag here. Yeah, here's the bag. So I went ahead and did a test run with it, and it seemed like it did a pretty good job with the grain. So I kind of put my hands through the grain, dug through it, and I only found maybe 2 small grains that didn't get cracked open, so I think it did a pretty good job. But I'll see after I do a full batch how everything looks. But so far I'm pretty happy with this. And again, price-wise, you know, you're talking $26 for this. These are like $2.75 or something like that. So basically 2 buckets. And then this guy here was one of the more expensive pieces, and maybe I could have done something better here. Like maybe just bought a big bottle from the start, like a huge water bottle, and just attached it straight to this guy. I haven't decided yet. But this guy was probably the expensive part. It was about $7. So if I do find a water bottle and it fits directly into here, I may just return this. I haven't decided yet. But there you go. I'll shoot a little video when I actually run this thing and see how it turns out. Okay, this is the next part to my winemaking. You know, it's been 9 days and you can see this thing's still bubbling every second to 2 seconds, so it's still fermenting, but we're going to go ahead and do a reading on it. So, got a pitcher of Star San there and my hydrometer. So let's crack this guy open. Actually, let me take a break here a second. I'll be right back with you after I open it. Okay, so here you go though. So here's what the wine looks like after 9 days. So all I'm going to do now is, you know, this thing's been sitting in Star San for about 15 minutes or so. I just want to make sure it's nice and sterile, because here's my plan. I'm going to take this guy too, dump that in my Star San. Probably just dump this out because I'm going to replace it anyhow. Did I just lose? Well, I'll find that piece to my airlock and then I'll go ahead and sanitize it. But all I want to do now is I'm going to take this, kind of rinse it off a little bit. I'm going to put it in here and just spin away. And so what we're doing here, let me see if I can't do this one-handed for you guys. So all I'm doing here is testing the gravity. From what I can tell, let's see here, it looks like it's, I can see 1010, so it may just be a hair below 1010. And it basically said if it's 1010 or lower, proceed to the next step. So let me get this out of here so that we can go to the next step of this. Okay, so here you I have the bucket of wine that we just took the reading on. I filled a carboy up, you know, with about 5.5 gallons of Star San. Let it sit for a good 15-20 minutes, shook it around good, and then I dumped the majority of it in here. I am sanitizing my you know, siphon stuff, the siphon hose, all that stuff is being soaked in Star San right now. And so what I'm going to do is I'll take this, I'll dump the rest of it into the bucket, you know, let it drip out as well as I can. You know, if I leave some foam in there, no big deal. and then we'll go ahead and start the siphon process. Okay, so here you can see the wine. So what I did now is just put my sanitized siphon in there, and we are siphoning into here. And again, don't worry about all the foam. This is just star sand. That's normal. And according to Craig Tube, he said the yeast actually love foam. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe it's the oxygen. I'm not exactly sure, but that's what he mentioned. But here's the other thing. You know, the reason you do it around 1010 or lower is because you don't want the fermentation process to stop yet. So what they have you do, I just didn't have the time. That's why I didn't do it after 5 to 7 days, but 9 days was fine. You know, it's still bubbling away. So what this will do is when it fills up, you just put the bung and airlock back on and you let it sit for 2 weeks. It'll finish its fermentation process, you know, get another good CO2 layer in here to protect it, and then we move on to the step 3 on this whole process. You know, that's where you start to degas it and do all that kind of stuff. But we'll get to that when we get to step 3. So, you know, I'm not going to bore you with this too much. So, you know, here's the wine going down. Put that back on. And then here we are filling it up. So this guy right here, the bottom of that's 5 gallons. So we'll see how much we have when this is all over. And at this point, you don't top it off or anything. So you just fill it up in the carboy. When it's done, like I said, you just put a bung and airlock on it, and then you let it sit for 2 weeks. And I'll grab the instructions here in a minute and show you guys the instructions why this is siphoning. Okay, and here we go. This is the second step, like I said. So you just clean and sanitize your siphon. Sorry about that background noise. That's just our, you know, one of our air things. So, but you see, basically just sanitize the rod, hydrometer. I didn't do a test jar because I did the hydrometer right in the wine. And your carboy, you rack it off. You know, like I said, after 5 to 7 days. I did 9 days. If it's 1010 or less, mine I think was 1009. And you know, that's basically it. So then you can see here at the bottom, it says leave it in here for 10 days. So at that point, you know, after 10 days, fermentation should be done. Let me flip over to the third step. So basically after 10 days, they're saying, let me get this to focus. You take another hydrometer reading, it should be 0.996 or less. So we won't worry about that though for another 10 days. I'll get to that when it's time. But you can see this is you know, filling up pretty quickly. And we'll move back up here. And you can see that's dropping pretty good. And at the end of this, I'll go ahead and tip the bucket just so I can get as much wine as I can out without getting too much sediment. So I'll go ahead and fast forward to when this thing is finished. Okay, here's the bucket after it's all done. So you can see, I mean, there's hardly anything left in here. Then here's the wine. Like I said, there's your 5 gallon mark. So we probably still got a pretty darn close to 6 gallons in this thing. And that big clump of star sand there was, you know, sitting about that high off this after the siphon was done. It's kind of the funny thing about star sand sometimes. I mean, it just bubbles like crazy. What I'm going to do now, though, see if I can do this without making a mess on my floor. It's got a pitcher of star sand here. Go ahead and put that on. And it's probably going to be a pain since it's wet. Get this guy in. Okay. So again, I mean, this next part is just a cakewalk, right? I mean, all you're really doing is sanitizing a bunch of equipment, siphoning it in from your fermenting bucket or whatever you fermented it in right into a carboy. I mean, it can't get much simpler than that. What I'll do, I need to try to get this sealed better. Maybe once this dries up a little bit. I mean, that Star San is just crazy how it goes all over the place. Yeah, I may not get a good seal on this thing until it dries up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'll just kind of set this lid on top of here. All this stuff is sanitized. I may go ahead and let this dry out a little bit, and then just get the bung and everything sealed, fill up the airlock, and then at that point, I mean, we are done with step 2. That's all there is to it. So there you go. So the winemaking part 3, you know, that'll come out in probably 10 to 14 days when we're ready for it. Cheers. Another thing I wanted to show you guys quickly, I talk about my oatmeal stout a lot, so this is the Party Pig that I use. It holds, you know, about 2 1/4 gallons or so. So basically, just pour it right in the glass like this, and this is kind of a nice solution to bottling. Because, you know, if I do a 5 1/2 gallon batch, you know, good, you know, almost half of the batch I can just put in here. So there you go. You can see it, you know, if I hold it a little bit closer to the tap, it doesn't put quite as much head on it, but you can see it definitely looks pretty nice. I just wanted to show you guys that quickly in case you guys want a cheap solution to kegging, because I want to get into kegging, I just can't afford it yet. So I just wanted to show that to you guys. Okay, so you guys just saw my Corona Mill project. You know, I need to sand that up a little bit. Like I said, I need to borrow my brother-in-law's Dremel. He's gonna let me borrow it either tomorrow or the next day, so I can clean everything up a little bit. You know, make everything smoothed up just so there's no plastic crap on there. You can see the wine's coming along well. And like I said, I'll put a part 3 out in a couple weeks. Then I showed you a little bonus, you know, video, excuse me, that I hadn't showed before. I used the Party Pig for the first time when I made my oatmeal stout, and like I showed you guys, I just poured this. And you know, I was pouring it by, you know, from about that high. That's why there was so much head on there. But you can see now it's kind of settled down a little bit. But that's about it. Like I said, you know, shout out to all my subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. And I will try to do an all grain video soon. And we'll see when I do the SJ pour. We'll see how much time I have, whether I can make that my first all grain video or not. That'll be about my 5th all grain I've done, so I'm getting pretty good at it. But again, happy Beer Fun Friday. I look forward to watching all your videos. I can say go Spartans. You know, they play at about 9:30 Eastern, so I need to break off to watch that. I'm kind of watching the second half of the Michigan game right now. I'm not a Michigan fan, but I'm hoping all the Big Ten does well. So again, happy Beer Fun Friday. Cheers, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.